Hey guys, Jim here. Sitting here in front of me is something pretty damn cool. A lot of people have commented on the videos that I've done on Chris Martin's work from Phantom Steelworks. And whether that be the original PF1 that he built for me a couple of years ago, or the Chris Reeve Omnumzon that he kind of modified and, as he calls it, murdered out, or the incredible DUB Impact that he made for me as a one-off custom. A lot of times people comment and go, it's really amazing, beautiful work. I just can't afford to do this and I can't afford to do that. I'm not at that level paying for custom knives yet, but I really love his aggressive nature and the fact that his knives don't look like anybody else's. Well, now finally you're going to get that chance for just about half of what a typical Phantom Steelworks custom costs. You're going to get your hands on his very first Midtech. And this is a big leap for Chris. It really, really is. And I'm very excited for him. Chris is a friend of mine. So it makes me feel really good that I get a chance to come out here and share with you something that's so exciting for him and really marks, I think, a new era for him and for his knives. Now, what you're looking at here is not going to be the standard basic variation. I want to make that very clear up front so that people aren't confused when they go to order. When you're getting into anything that Chris does, he's always going to offer a degree of modification. What we're seeing here, this is prototype number 1. This is the actual knife that's going to get sent to the manufacturer to make the Midtech run. So this is the only DUB Impact, quote-unquote, Midtech that exists. And what he wanted to do was take number 1 here and demonstrate to people the options that will be available to them. What you're going to get on a standard DUB Impact, you will get the milled lines. They will not be flamed, and the flats will all be done in a nice satin finish. You won't have this really wicked rippled and etched titanium that you're seeing here. That is that's a shitload of work. But you will get the option to be able to do this. Now, typically, to get what Chris calls a murdered out knife, that's about a $300 option that you can do on that he's done for production knives, for other people's knives, and that he's offered on his own customs. Instead of charging $300 to modify the knife and make it a one-off and make it unique, he's going to do it for just about half that price. I think he discussed with me around $165. Now that could vary if you start really getting into crazy shit, like you want to murder the blade and stuff. But as this sits, you'd be looking at the base price for the DUB Impact Midtech, which I do believe is $500, and then adding the $165. Now that does put you into custom grade money from a lot of makers, but it doesn't really come close to the customs that he's doing. Now, let's take a good look at this side by side to the custom, because that's the first question that people asked when I started showing pictures on Instagram yesterday. And if you're not following me on Instagram, please do so. You'll generally see the stuff I'm going to make videos of a day, a week, or 2 weeks before I ever make the video. It's just at Jim Skelton TV. Very simple to find. So as you see, the frame sizes are exactly the same. When we get them open, now again, this is the custom he made for me. This is full Damascus front and back. This, holy shit! I know, right? Oh, somebody's been working on the Detents. And there they are side by side. Now, the camera angle, because I have it kind of angled this way, makes the Midtech look a little bit longer. It's not. These are the exact same size. And he was deciding between a few different blade profiles, and he ended up choosing the same blade profile that I have, which is kind of his arched tanto, which makes me happy. That's my particular favorite. So the exact same size. So if you were wondering, is it smaller, is it larger? No, it's actually going to be the same size. Now, some companies, some retailers have listed the blade length incorrectly. Let's go over that. The entire overall length is 8 1/4 inches. The blade is actually a 4-inch blade, but because of how much the frame comes out, it seems smaller than it really is. A lot of people are calling it a 3-inch blade. It's not. It has a 3-inch cutting surface. But you do have to realize, from pivot to tip, actually from exposed blade to tip is 4 inches. You have a large choil up here, and then you have a little bit of cutting surface here. It's about 3 inches, and then of course you have the cutting surface up here in the tanto tip. Now, other differences, obviously, he didn't go full murder. I have the murdered blade on here. It may be something that he'll offer you. Again, I don't think that'll be in the $165 upgrade price, but you could probably pay a little bit more and get that done. As you see, mine is a compound ground knife, so it's got a lot more time invested in the blade. This is not. This is going to be a very high flat grind. I thought when I saw his pictures initially as a full flat, but he does have this swedge coming down, so you've got a little bit of a breakup in the style of the blade. He's done an excellent job on this. It really is wicked. There's a little bit of bevel right there on the forward tanto tip. So you do have that reinforced tip here. It is going to be nice and strong. This is CPM 154. Now, the thing with Chris is, and this is something that I've told him for years, you need to sharpen your detent. You need to make your detent harder. Even on my custom, I mean, that's over a $2,000 knife. The detent still is not all that strong. It's acceptable, it's good, but he finally sharpened it up. Now, the way the DUB Impact is set up, it's really set up more like a push button. The flipper's not up here like we would expect. It's actually very far behind the pivot. So he actually wants you to push straight down on it. When you do that, you see that it rockets open. It is very, very, very fast. This is on a cage bearing system. So yeah, it's a screamer. But unlike mine, I cannot light switch mine because the detent is just too light. I can barely get it to go to full lock doing that because it has no resistance to break past. This one does. And very, very nicely done. Nice and crisp. So no matter what kind of flipper you are, some people only like to push button, some people only like to light switch. The DUB Impact Midtech is going to allow everybody to enjoy it equally. Now, I have to stress this. This is the prototype. This is completely hand done by Chris. Midtechs, as we know, are not full hand-built knives. So I'm sure there's going to be some inconsistencies from knife to knife. So if you get a Midtech and go, you're a fucking liar, man, I got mine, my detent's way harder or way softer or way... There's an inconsistency there when you're producing on that level. Don't blame me. I'm giving you my impressions based on the prototype. But for me, it's a big deal because this is the very first time, and I've owned two knives that were built custom by Chris for me, and I've handled 5 or 6 others. I have never felt him do a detent like that. Never. So when I texted him, I said, dude, the detent on this is freaking fantastic. He's like, yeah, a lot of people really want a sharp, hard detent, so that's what I'm adjusting to now. So that's going to be my detent going forward. So, no matter what the inconsistencies may be in the production, the focus is on making a sharper, snappier, faster flipper with a better detent adjustment. So do keep that in mind. It's going to be better than what you've seen from him in the past. And that makes me happy as shit. Now, the reason why it's called the DUB Impact is because you have double impact areas with the knife when it's closed. So the way it's designed, you have, like a lot of companies, they'll put a little glass breaker back here, whether it be done with the point of a frame or a back spacer coming out. Traditionally, you want that in some sort of steel. You could use this for a glass breaker probably once, and then it's going to flatten out the soft titanium. But the whole point is here is to do damage. So you've got a pointed area here and a pointed area up here. You can use this to apply pressure points, or you can just, jab somebody in the fucking temple. Whatever it is that you need to do, if for some reason you feel that you don't want to deploy the blade and use that part as the weapon. So you've got really kind of a little fist packer here. I like the leverage this gives you this way, by the way. So if you are, I don't know, maybe you're chipping fucking ice. I don't know what you're doing. You've got the leverage here where your thumb just drops right in place, and you've got that going on back there. Oh, I love this thing. I gotta tell you, the action is remarkable. And you can see how strong the detent is. If I just barely break past it there, and I've got it sitting on the detent, to break it even to close it, notice my fingers are not on the lock bar. You got quite a bit going on there. Yeah, that's a nice, strong detent in both directions. So I'm very happy to see Chris making that adjustment. So as far as carryability, I've had my DUB Impact for quite a long time now. I've carried it a lot. It's comfortable, it's easy to carry, it's a somewhat compact knife for its overall size. Again, you're looking at 8¼ inches overall, so when it's open, it's a big knife, but it's really easy to carry. It's slim. It's not going to be obtrusive in the pocket. Everything you see here is titanium. Both sides, the presentation side, the lock side, the clip, and the standoffs are all done in titanium. Nicely done, by the way. Great finish work all the way around, too. Now, if you do opt to pay the extra money to get it customized, no two are ever going to be alike. So if you looked at this and went, holy shit, Chris, I want you to make the exact same thing, even if he went to make it really, really close, it's still never going to be the exact same because all this is done by hand. Wow. I love how the finish just plays with the light. Almost has a tree bark look to it. Very slick, very cool. Almost has a waterfall effect as you move it around in the light. So really, in my opinion, the way that you're getting this knife, it's like getting into a full custom DUB Impact for a lot less money. And you know, a lot of guys are doing that really well these days, and also offering modifications. You look at Andre de Villers, you look at Robert Carter, you look at David Mosier, who else is doing some great Midtechs? And John Graham. All four of those guys will offer modifications on top of their Midtech if you're willing to pay for that, just to make it a little bit more unique. So what Chris is doing there really falls in line with what they're doing. But he's also doing the same as all those guys, because if you look at those four in particular, and I don't really hear it being said much about the others, but those four in particular, a lot of people say, you know what? This thing is so close to the quality of the custom that I own by that maker, it almost blurs the lines. And to know that I can save so much money by just buying the Midtech, it makes it, you know, more comfortable for me to carry and actually use it, maybe abuse it a little bit, whereas maybe I wouldn't do that with my $1,000 or $1,500 custom. That's a really good point. This is so close to the quality of what he's offering in his customs that it kind of blurs the lines a little bit. Listen, unless you're looking for crazy shit like what I did here, I've got over $500 worth of Timascus in this thing alone. A lot of guys don't need to go that level. I didn't either. I would have been probably just as happy with the full titanium version. But the full titanium in the DUB Impact in a custom, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, last I talked with Chris, started at $975. That's the base price. These are $500. So now you take that $975, you add another $300 to it to get it murdered out and carved up and everything else. You know, you're talking, what's that, $1,275. You only had $165 to do it to this. So you're at under $700. So there is a remarkable difference in the price points, but in my opinion, not a monstrous difference in the quality. And that's what's key. You're saving money and you're getting something that's high quality and something that we all want. Is the packaging any different? Do I just get this in a little cheap cardboard box? No. You'll get the same packaging that you would get if you bought the full-blown custom. This is his hard case. A few guys are using these now. It'll come in a little plastic bag, and you get the certificate of authenticity. Da-da, 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 da-da. There it is. DUB Impact Midtech. CPM 154, titanium, murdered. I think he actually wrote that on there, didn't he? Yes, he did. So, boom. So you've got stainless steel hardware, but everything else is titanium. So that just means that your screws, right here, these two screws, and those two screws are steel. Everything else is titanium. Then, of course, going back to your CPM 154 steel blade. So all in all, I find bang for the buck, damn good. Can you spend a little bit less with other guys' Midtechs and get something just as good? I'll be honest with you, there's some damn good Midtechs out there, and the one that always jumps out at people, if they've handled it, is the Andre de Villers Butcher. Now, it's a completely different style of knife. It's a larger knife. It's a heavier knife. Overall, the way that it's built, it just seems larger. It's not actually larger. They're about the same size. But that is as close as you're going to get to a full-on custom, and he's charging $450 for that. So there's a $50 difference here. That's something to keep in mind. When Andre goes to add different anodization and do carvings and etchings and this and this and that, the price goes up. Same thing with Chris's work. So you're really still going to be within about $50 difference. And I would say it is easily worth the money, especially because there is not another knife anywhere that I've personally seen that looks anything like a DUB Impact. It's a useful design. It's cool. It's funky when you whip it out, whether it's somebody that doesn't know knives or they're a huge knife lover. When you whip this out and open it up, they're going to go, holy shit, what is that? That's really cool. And you know what? That's nice. It's fun. It's great to have that feeling. I'm not saying you should ever buy something to impress somebody else. You should buy it because it makes you happy. But it really is nice when someone else can validate the decision that you've made by complimenting it. And I got to tell you, I've gotten a shitload of compliments on my DUB Impact, even if it weren't full-time Damascus. Just the fact that it's so wonderfully unique, that it's so well built, so well crafted, and that all of the handwork that has gone into it represents the dedication that Chris has. So if you're looking for something fresh and unique, he's still taking orders for the pre-order list. There's only, I think, maybe 4 or 5 slots left, but whatever. There's still a few spots left. You can always contact him at phantomsteelworks.com. Yeah, it's easiest just to email him or hit him up on Instagram. It's just at phantomsteelworks. And if you don't make the pre-order cut, maybe when he goes into the production, there'll be some that he'll be able to offer. I would say try it out. I think you got a damn good knife here all the way around. And to see him make such a marked improvement on his flipping actions by creating such a wonderful detent, I'm glad to see that it finally happened. And I got to tell you, I'm going to be getting one of these for myself. There's no way around it. Mine is actually going to be the very next one that he makes. This was the prototype that he's sending off. And again, everything's hand built. This is not something I would want to carry around. This is his hand built. I can't wait to get mine. He's going to make mine a little bit different, make it a little bit unique, make it cool, so I'll definitely make a video when that comes in. And I'm excited to see what everybody's going to do with theirs, how they're going to make theirs unique, how they're going to make theirs cool and a one-off. So I think this is going to be a really fun time over the course of this year as he produces these. I'm out of here for now, guys. Thank you so much, as always, for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.